First and foremost, all thanks and praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wa Rakakwadash. Peace, blessings, and much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like. Pushing out this purified truth to the rest of the church who believe as well. You men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters also. The Wada, which means thank you to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel, and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. So let's touch on the book of Job, chapter 33, and I'll start at verse 13, as it is written. Why dost thou strive against him? For he giveth not account of any of his matters. For God speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not. And a lot of times, people be saying things like, well, if God's real, why don't he give me a sign? And oftentimes, the Heavenly Father will send people signs, but they don't have the discernment to realize the signs. They don't see it. They can't perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep it falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed. Then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction. So the Lord's will is going to always be done. People like to believe in something known as free will. We don't have free will. We have the perception of free will. It comes off like we have free will. But ultimately, the Heavenly Father is the one controlling everything, every single matter. Nothing is against our power. So saying that we have free will, that's actually a worldly doctrine. That's not true. That's fairy tale. You might say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to make a trip to the grocery store. And then after I make that trip, I'm going to go ahead to such and such's house to go pay a visit and say hi. Then the next day comes, none of those things end up happening because one, you either procrastinate, you put it off, you say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow instead. Or something else may have come up that you weren't able to do what you thought you were going to do. Plus, another thing that shows free will is a myth. Many people would like to have financial freedom. Many people would like to have, certain things that they desire, and they can't have it because there's no such thing as free will. Everything is determined by the Heavenly Father, and he seals our instruction in our sleep, which determines what our day is going to be when we wake up, if he allows us to wake up. So let's read this again in Job chapter 33 and verse 15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction. So the instruction which goes along with what we're going to do throughout the day, how our day is going to be, all that is determined by the Heavenly Father. Just like those who treat us good or those who treat us wrong, the Heavenly Father sealed that in their minds while they were asleep. Okay? It's like he's uploading information within them when they go to sleep. Okay? That he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. So there's no such thing as free will, because if there was, men would have opportunity to brag and boast and say, this is because of me, that's because of me. Well, no, ultimately everything goes back to the Lord. You look at these millionaires, you look at people who come up with these ideas to run businesses and them being successful at that comes from the Heavenly Father. He puts those things in your mind. He puts that ambition in you if that's what he wants you to do. So the Lord seals our instruction and our sleep, showing you that the Lord directs our steps, which leads me to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and 23. O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself, which keeps man from being prideful. It keeps a man from being proud, boastful. Okay? O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. Many times plans have been made and those plans did not fall through because we do not direct our own steps. Okay? It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. So it's not, within us to have the power to say, okay, it's up to my will on what I do and what I don't do. No, it's already sealed within you. The Lord placed that instruction within you while you were asleep, how your day is going to go. It's already established. It's already been determined by the Heavenly Father because everything is his will. All right. O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself, so there is no free will. If you know the ways of the Lord, you know that there's no free will. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps, but it's the Heavenly Father that directs the steps of man. He is the one that controls everything. All right. So let's go to the book of James, chapter 4, I believe. It's either James or, yes, James, I believe. James chapter 4 and 14. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away. So our time here is limited. As the saying goes, time flies, which is a sign of our mortality. You might have a son, you might have a daughter, and you love them. And seeing how time flies, they were once a baby. Then as time goes on, you're looking at them like, man, they grew up quick, man. And it's sad, too, because the older we get, the closer we are to decaying away, to dying, to vanishing. Okay? For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. So it's up to the Lord what we do, because he seals our instruction in our sleep. A man in his carnal mind believes that he has the free will because he thought upon the things that he did before he did it. Right? Everything is really a conscious thought. So a man will feel in his mind, see, it's because I thought about doing it that I did it. But regardless, it's the Heavenly Father directing our steps. It's the Heavenly Father instructing that within us. Everything is his will, whether we do this, whether we do that, whether we live, whether we die. Okay? Whether we remain in the truth or whether we fall out, it's all the will of the Lord. Everything is his will. The woman that you're with, the woman that you're not with. Whether you have a woman or whether you don't have a woman. Okay, whether you have a job, whether you don't have a job. Like all these things are ultimately determined by the Heavenly Father. Okay? Verse 15 again. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will. So it's the Lord's will. That's why you shouldn't boast and say, I promise I'm going to do this tomorrow. Be like, hey, Lord willing, I'm going to do this tomorrow. Or Lord willing, I'm going to do that. Because it's his will. Okay? For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or do that. So everything goes to the Heavenly Father. All souls belong to him, according to the book of Ezekiel 18. So what I'll do now, I'll jump to the book of Proverbs to kind of go into what I was just specifying a little bit. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. So yeah, although a man may ponder, a man may make a conscious decision to do a certain thing, then he does it. But ultimately, it's the Lord directing his steps. It's the Lord allowing that to happen, or the Lord blocking that. Because again, the Lord is sealing our instruction in our sleep. Okay? Just as we're able to do this right now, it's the Lord's will working through us that we're able to do these lessons and teach other fellow believers. It's not up to us. Philippians chapter 2 and 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is God which worketh in you, both to will and to do of his good pleasure. So it's the Heavenly Father's will that we do his good pleasure. He puts the Spirit in us to do these videos, to go out and teach, to have faith, to not go off into darkness. That's up to the Heavenly Father. Everything is his will, whether you're wicked, whether you're righteous. Just as us being in this ministry, seeing that is his will, we didn't choose ourselves either. Okay? For it is the power which worketh in you, both to will and to do his good pleasure. So the good pleasure, being a righteous person, living upright, doing good in the sight of the Heavenly Father, even when people aren't looking, even when it doesn't necessarily benefit your flesh all the way, even when it hurts, even when it feels uncomfortable, trying to live upright in the sight of the Lord to the best of your ability, there is a heavy, heavy reward for that. Okay? So again, there is no free will. We don't determine our own steps. The Heavenly Father does. And seeing that we're not in this truth because of our own will, we didn't call ourselves into this either. So I'll leave you with this in John chapter 15 and 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. That whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. So the fact that we're even able to believe, the fact that we're able to teach, even that isn't even our will. Okay, we might make a conscious decision, make a conscious effort, but it's the Heavenly Father through his only begotten Son that's allowing us, because it's their will that's going to be done. Okay, and I pray that this was simple, easy to understand, and edifying. All praises unto our power, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wa Rakakwadash. Shalom.